Palm Sunday is the day Jesus arrived in Jerusalem on a donkey. Jesus had become well known for performing miracles and teaching the people about God. When he arrived in Jerusalem, the people came to meet him, shouting Hosanna, meaning save. They spread branches from palm trees on the road, and that's why we call it Palm Sunday. The Last Supper is the last time Jesus ate with his disciples before he was arrested. Jesus asked his disciples to arrange this meal. It was called the Passover meal. Jesus taught his disciples many important things that evening. Jesus broke the bread and drank from the cup, passing it to his disciples. He said, "Do this in remembrance of me." The bread and the wine represent Jesus' body and blood. And when Christians take communion, they remember that Jesus died on the cross so that we may have forgiveness. Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane after the Last Supper. He took some of his disciples with him and told them to keep watch because he knew he was going to be arrested. His disciple, Judas, had gone to the Jewish leaders to betray him. Judas led a crowd armed with swords and clubs and included soldiers sent from the Jewish leaders. Judas had arranged a signal for them. He would kiss the one they were to arrest. This was a traditional greeting. After Jesus was arrested, he was taken to the high priest and the Jewish judges. They couldn't find anything to charge him with, and finally found him guilty of blasphemy, because he said he was the Christ, God's Son. Then the guards took him and beat him. Then Jesus was sent to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate, to be tried and sentenced. Pilate couldn't find any reason to execute Jesus, as the Jewish leaders wanted, but he wanted to please the crowd, so he handed Jesus over to be crucified. A crown of thorns was placed on his head, and they mocked him, calling out, "Hail!" He was made to carry a heavy wooden cross. So he was struggling to carry the heavy wooden cross. A passerby named Simon, otherwise known as Calvary, means the place of the skull. This is where Jesus was led to be crucified. Jesus was crucified by nailing his hands and feet to the cross. A note was placed on the top of the cross which said, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Two other men, both criminals. One of them mocked Jesus, but the other knew he deserved to be punished and asked Jesus to remember him in his kingdom. "Today you will be with me in paradise," replied Jesus. Jesus suffered on the cross for about 6 hours. During the last 3 hours there was darkness over the land while his suffering was at its greatest. Finally he cried out, "It is finished." Then, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Then he died.